my name is Lucy and today I'm going to be talking about the books that I've read recently, and there are some disappointing reads, there are lots of DNFs, so let's get into this. This is my kind of March and beginning of April wrap up because I'm doing recent read videos instead. So we have Pestilence by Laura Falasa. So I started reading some fantasy romance books because I'd read From Blood and Ash and A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire and I really enjoyed them, so I wanted to try some other ones. So I asked for recommendations on Twitter and I looked online and I picked some up. So Pestilence is where the four horsemen of the apocalypse come to Earth, and one of them is Pestilence and he causes disease wherever he goes. And there is this woman who is trying to kill him and then he takes her with him. And this book was so problematic. I ended up DNFing it. So you basically have this being who is killing loads of people and then she starts to fall for him even though people are dying in the next room. So I was like, this is not for me. So I DNF'd that one. But this is a theme that I have found with some of these books that you will see. So then I read The Winter King by C.L. Wilson. And in this one you have this, I think he's a prince. His brother died and he took this power to take revenge. But this power has kind of made him cold. And then he's going to take this princess from the kingdom who killed his brother. And there's like a love story there. I didn't get very far because I just already found it problematic and I wasn't enjoying it. If you check out reviews for this, you will see that it is just, it's not good. Issues with consent and how she's treated. So I just DNF'd that one and I didn't read very much of it, to be honest with you. By the way, don't worry, this gets better. This is just my little fantasy romance trying but fail series. So we have Oath Taker by Audrey Gray. And in this one, this gal lives with the prince and she is like his protector. And one day she meets this evil being, and to be honest, I can't even remember what happened. But I know that there were reasons that I DNF'd it. Let me have a look. Okay, yes, I remember. This one was just really boring and slow and I wasn't interested in it, so I just left it. But yeah, I didn't read too much of that one. I read reviews and the reviews weren't great, so yes, unfortunately did not like that one. So now I have some books that I actually have more to talk about. So we have A Sprinkle of Sorcery by Michelle Harrison. This is book 2. The first book is Pinch Magic. This is a middle grade fantasy series that follows 3 sisters who, in the first one, they find out that they are cursed and they each get a magical object and things happen. And I really loved the first book. It was amazing. It was beautiful. It was just lovely. This one I didn't like as much. I found this one a bit boring and I just wasn't really enjoying it. The ending was emotional, so I'm glad that I did get to the end, but I just didn't unfortunately love this as much as the first one, which is a shame. But I am going to be reading the third one and I want to see what happens to the sisters because I think that is the final book. So I want to see what happens to them in the end. Hopefully I will like that one more than this one. But yes, I didn't love this one and I gave it 4 stars. So I would probably say like 3.5, 3.75. But I would still recommend this if you want to read a middle grade fantasy series that centres around sisters. Then I read Selling Ascends by Josiah Bancroft. And in this one we follow a man who goes on honeymoon to this tower. And he is a professor and he has been talking about this tower for years. And he marries this woman and then she goes missing and he has to go into the tower to find her. And people go in the tower and they go missing and they don't come out again, basically. So Senlin goes with this tour guide and tries to find her. And there are different levels and it's basically like a whole world within this tower, like the cities and everything in this tower. And I just didn't love the main character. I didn't feel attached. I didn't care. He wasn't very likeable to me personally. He was just really interested in the facts and everything. And I don't know, I just didn't feel interested in his character and I felt like it was boring and he was kind of a bit frustrating. So I ended up DNFing this one. I know that a lot of people love this book, but unfortunately I just didn't enjoy it. So I've just been DNFing a lot of books recently. It has been like a terrible reading time, but I give the book some time and I look at reviews, so I've given it a chance and it's just not for me. So then we have Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. So I read Shadow and Bone, which is the first book in the Grisha trilogy, which is a series set before Six of Crows, and I did enjoy it, but I didn't like the ending, so I didn't continue with that series. So everyone seems to love Six of Crows, and a lot of people say that it's better than the Grisha trilogy. In this book we follow a group of characters who have to go on a heist, essentially. And there are Grishas who have different abilities. And in this book we have a leader who is called Kaz, and then we have other people, and he has to kind of gather this crew together. There is something that's happening to the Grisha. There is a drug that is making them really powerful, but then they end up dying. So he has been asked to go and basically stop this. And in this story we kind of have like 2 hints of romances, but everything has already happened off page. Like for one of the romances, the characters hate each other, and what happened before the book. So we're kind of finding it out in flashbacks, and all of the characters already have like these relationships and attachments. And I didn't really like that, because I like seeing the characters meet each other and things grow over time and things changing and seeing it myself. So I didn't really like that aspect. And I didn't like the fact that Kaz was the leader and everyone seems to love him, but I don't know why. He isn't that great of a character. He isn't very nice. And I just didn't feel interested in the romances or the characters. So I ended up DNFing this book. And I know I'm not the only one, because people on Twitter have spoken to me and said that they didn't enjoy the book. So I'm not the only one that hasn't loved it, but I know that this is a really hyped book, so it was very unfortunate. But I listened to quite a bit of the audiobook and I just wasn't enjoying it. So yes, there's another DNF. And then the last book I'm going to talk about is A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. And I've read this in a vlog, so I will link that down below. So in this one we follow a group of characters. So there is a fae whose sister died and she killed people, so then she was outcast. There's another girl who's half human and half fae. The people that are half human and half fae are called Ironborn, and someone is going around and killing the Ironborn. So there's this mystery, and we have the outcast fae and this other girl. She is related to the royals, so she is still kind of in the fae world and she is trying to find out what's happening. And then we have another fae who has a mysterious mark on him, and he is trying to find out what's happening as well. And then we have a character who used to be a fae, but his magic was taken away, and this mysterious character as well. And so we follow different perspectives for each chapter, and it was quite good. There is a lot of representation in this book. So there is a character who uses they pronouns, and there are different sexualities in this book as well. So I would recommend having a look at reviews if you want to check out the representation. So I was really enjoying it, but I got to the point where I was just not really interested anymore. Like, I didn't love the main characters and I just felt like I didn't care. So I ended up DNFing this one, which is a real disappointment. But if you are interested, I would really recommend checking it out, because I do think that it is worth reading. And I feel like this book is more of a setup for the second book, so it's very slow and not much really happens in the first book, especially looking at reviews. So it's more of a build up for the second book and things to happen in that book, and the characters take a while to meet as well. But if that sounds interesting to you, I would definitely recommend checking out. It's just, for me personally, it was slow for a while and I ended up DNFing it. So yes, I've had some disappointing reads, but it is picking up now. But I'm going to speak about those other books that I've read, or what I'm reading at the moment, in another recent reads video later on. So this is kind of like all the books that I've DNF'd and like disappointing reads. But it is looking up now, and I have read one book that I've given a 4-star and another book that I am enjoying. So hopefully it's all up from here. But we had a lot of DNFs, so yes. Please let me know what you've been reading recently, and if you've been DNFing a lot of books this year, because I feel like I have. I haven't found many new favourites yet this year, but I'm hoping that it will pick up. But I do find DNFing really helpful, because if I'm not enjoying a book, it's just going to put me in a reading slump and I'm not going to want to read. So I find it really helpful so that I pick up another book and find something that I may enjoy more, and so that I keep reading. So yes, please let me know what you've been reading recently, and if you've had any new favourites or any DNFs or disappointments, and if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to like, comment and subscribe, and check out my other videos if you would like to. And I hope to see you in another video soon. Bye!